Let's start with the Sussexes feud with the Beckhams. According to Lady C, and I know she has a lot of fans amongst royal watchers, it was David and Victoria Beckham who cut ties with the Sussexes, not the other way around.
Word is Prince Harry is seething behind the scenes after the Invictus Games shakeup. The very event he built to restore his global standing has reportedly tapped David Beckham. Yes, that David Beckham as the face of 2026. Beckham, the worldwide football legend, beloved philanthropist, and steadfast royal ally, replaces Harry in the ultimate power play.
The Beckhams basically said, well, why waste our time with these people? They just are incapable of getting along with anybody. Are they incapable of not playing the victim?
After watching his influence ebb, partnerships fracture, and media deals implode, losing Invictus feels like the last pillar of his crafted identity crumbling underfoot. And now Harry has no scapegoat, but himself. Let's be real, David Beckham is a bona fide global phenomenon, a football icon with unmatched star power. For Harry, this isn't just a snub, it's the final dethronement.
I'm so glad that Lady C made this point, Rita. And also, I don't know if you've heard Tom Bauer discuss how David Beckham showed up to support Prince Harry at Invictus. And he was overheard saying, when do I get to see Harry? Can I see?
Respected global humanitarian, style legend, devoted family man, and now the shining emblem of Invictus. While Harry clings to faded headlines, Beckham sparks fresh admiration with every appearance. His star power eclipses politics, class, and controversy. Beloved by all generations for his reliability and warmth, Beckham checks every box for the Invictus Games committee, now more than ever. When Invictus faced the choice between a waning royal and a timeless icon, the decision was crystal clear.
There were reports that Meghan Markle put the kibosh on David getting any photos with Prince Harry at Invictus because she felt like David and Victoria would outshine her in some way, so she wanted to make sure that they weren't photographed together and didn't allow Harry.
As a universally beloved superstar, Beckham was a no-brainer. Stability over tension. Beckham uplifts Invictus. Harry fuels non-stop drama. The humiliation is crystal clear. Insiders say the Invictus Games board is exhausted by Harry's constant headline churn. What began as an uplifting, veteran-centered competition has, thanks to Sussex sensationalism, morphed into a Sussex soap opera.
Conversation, and she stops because she's startled that somebody has grabbed her and is relocating her, and it's Meghan just taking it upon herself to adjust this woman for a photo. I have to tell you that so far is my favorite video from Invictus.
It is incredible. She made a little speech, of course, which we're hoping to...
Meghan Markle might never have stood next to Jeffrey Epstein, but the social circles she moved in pre-royalty tell a different story. Names that vacationed on Epstein's private island also surfaced on the same yachts, in the same snapshots, and on Meghan's elite guest lists. Power players like Ghislaine Maxwell, infamous for her ties to the ultra-wealthy, were constant fixtures at events Meghan attended. The overlap isn't coincidence, it's a glaring spotlight on the company she kept.
So embedded with this amazing Invictus Games thing that he had invented, that, he loved it more than anything else, and that she said, the great thing is that we're all part of one big family. You're my family and you're his family. And all I could think of was, well, she's obviously trying to say that he doesn't have a family because they're all horrible racists, they all live in England.
Some chalk it up to coincidence, but the pattern reveals dangerous proximity. These weren't 1,000-person charity galas. They were exclusive circles of power. Meghan didn't wander in. She climbed every ladder to reach those rooms. Now she's frantically scrambling to scrub her past. A former Hollywood friend who shared cramped apartments, grueling auditions, and big dreams with Meghan in those early hungry days has come forward with devastating clarity about what really happened behind the velvet ropes.
You talk to no one from your family, so I better just bask in the glow of your temporary, kindness.
There is that problem. My other favourite story of the weekend was the Spotify one, where it turns out that the people who worked at Spotify had more nicknames for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex than anybody ever knew, including Ginge and Whinge,
According to a close source, every move Meghan made was calculated. She was a master strategist, slithering into circles with yachts, private jets, or industry heavyweights. If you had clout, she had an angle. A former friend recalled Meghan scheming for invites to elite gatherings, volunteering, event planning, anything to worm her way into the right rooms. She wasn't networking, she was scaling a social ladder, and she didn't blink at exploiting goodwill. Where did that ascent kick off? On sun-soaked boats and shadowy beachfront parties, hangouts that, in retrospect, were a stone's throw from some of history's darkest players.
And they called her Eva, named after, I think, one of the, was it Joan Crawford, from the 1990 camp classic Queen Bee.
Yeah, I mean, those are actually pretty tame compared to what I hear on the streets of Los Angeles. So I think that they should encourage those versus what people say about.
Those photos didn't just disappear by accident. They were deliberately erased to bury the breadcrumbs, pointing straight to Meghan's old playbook. By pulling down geotag snapshots from Monte Carlo, Cannes, and the Amalfi Coast, hotspots where Epstein's network partied hard, she aimed to erase any suggestion she'd hobnobbed in the same elite circles at the very moment those dark ties were at their peak. But the web never sleeps. Digital sleuths have dug up hidden metadata and archived geotags proving she was there at the height of the Epstein network's European rendezvous. Erasing her past was a calculated move to shield her royal-branded future from questions about just how deep her old connections really ran.
Of the fire damage
Yes.
and devastation. So,
And the
yeah,
Billie
I mean,
Eilish business, right?
oh my gosh. Like, you know, whenever I do a good deed, I like to name drop 30,000 people that don't even like the post or acknowledge that
Right.
I'm giving them a shout out.
Absolutely right. And also,
Why has Meghan never publicly addressed those jet-setting escapades right after her engagement to Prince Harry? If she had nothing to hide, why scrub her past trips away? Insiders reveal that during Meghan's private background screening, the palace uncovered all those elite social circles and associations. One royal aide admitted they spotted red flags, but airing them risked derailing Harry's big moment. The order was simple: don't rock the boat. So quietly they buried the concerns, sweeping Meghan's pre-royal connections under the rug to protect the palace's plans. This hush-up still smolders today as questions linger over what else was hidden.
because he's got enough problems with his wife, which was classic Trump. He apparently decided in his speech to say that basically he didn't think there was much moral leadership in the world, which everybody thought was a bit of a swipe at Trump. But they're pretty rich of old Prince Harry, a man that used to parade around.
They didn't hush it to shield the crown. They did it to guard Harry's fragile heart. Now the monarchy is tangled in Meghan's unraveling saga, scandals they knew of but quietly ignored. Their silence is fast being seen as a betrayal, not just of tradition, but of the public trust. Meghan's revered persona, the philanthropist, feminist, and self-styled victim, is just the top layer of a ruthless strategy. Beneath the yacht parties and hidden guest lists, the real story is clawing to daylight. For the first time in years, Meghan is losing her grip on the narrative. With every new revelation, her Epstein-linked connections, her frantic image purge, her desperate public distractions, her polished facade is cracking under unbearable pressure. And no matter how hard she tries, she can't bury the truth. It's a meltdown in real time. This controversy isn't about punishing someone for past mistakes. It's about deception. It's about calculated cover-ups. It's about the aggressive attempt to erase entire chapters of one's history in order to sell a narrative that never truly existed. Commentators and royal experts alike are turning against Meghan, not because she attended yacht parties, but because she's lied about it, because she's silenced voices, because she's turned her past into a weapon of manipulation. She didn't just hide her past, one commentator noted. She rewrote it and then punished anyone who dared question the version. That's not empowerment, that's propaganda. And now the world is seeing it for what it really is. A deception campaign carried out in plain sight. Once hailed as a modern feminist icon, Meghan Markle is now facing serious accusations of hypocrisy. How can one claim to be a champion for women's empowerment while simultaneously building their early career around access to powerful men? This isn't about past slip-ups, it's about fraud. It's calculated cover-ups and brazen erasure of inconvenient history to pitch a fantasy narrative. Experts and commentators aren't outraged at yacht photos, they're furious. She lied about them, silenced dissenters, and weaponized her backstory. As one royal analyst blasted, Meghan didn't just delete her past, she rewrote it and punished anyone who questioned her version. That's not empowerment, it's propaganda. And the world is calling it out. Once applauded as a 21st century feminist trailblazer, Meghan Markle now faces harsh hypocrisy charges. How can someone preach women's empowerment while climbing the ranks through powerful men? Many of her circle thrived in morally bankrupt patriarchal arenas. Critics charge that Meghan's brand of feminism wasn't about tearing down oppressive systems, it was about exploiting them for her climb, and then feigning ignorance of her own gains. Her stone-cold silence on those Epstein-linked connections, juxtaposed against her fiery condemnations of others, breaks any claim to integrity. As one author snapped, "When you feast at a corrupt table and then cast yourself as the victim, you're not brave, you're a fraud." Legally, Meghan stands unscathed, no charges, lawsuits, or subpoenas. But in the court of public opinion, the jury's verdict is shifting. Association isn't criminal, but erasing it, lying about it, and pretending it never existed, that's a moral betrayal. When your fame rests on truth, authenticity, and women uplifting women, your hidden past isn't just history, it's a ticking time bomb. Her allies feel betrayed by her manipulations. The most telling sign? Even Meghan's biggest backers are quietly pulling away. Netflix producers, burned by her underperforming projects, are hesitant to ink any new deals. Her spin-off cooking show, shelved without fanfare, Oprah Winfrey, once her unwavering champion, has gone eerily silent as the scandal deepens. Sources say Oprah's team is weighing future plans with Meghan as a risk management move. When the Queen of Talk and the King of Streaming start to back off, it's no accident, it's a full-blown crisis. What began as a dazzling reinvention has devolved into a slow-motion collapse. Meghan's image control crusade has exploded in her face, revealing an uncomfortable truth. Authenticity can't be faked and buried secrets always surface. With her inner circle retreating and her brand in ruins, the ultimate question remains, who is Meghan Markle really?